Let clear the table here. I've got bows, bows, and more bows still. Tyler, business opportunity. Actually, what would be great on this idea of a scraper knife with the radius blade to do the backs of board bows, that would be cool if somebody actually had the capability of doing it, not GM production line numbers, but numbers enough that you could sell them. Because believe me, if you were to make these things, and I'll explain it for those of you who haven't heard this spiel before, I would do my best to push it. Um, Talking to Mike Yancey, and other people involved in actually selling these things, because having this mysterious tool would be a huge leap in the production of board bows for people. A lot of people make board bows. It's simple. The materials are accessible. You can make very nice bows out of board bows. The one thing that I like is rounding the backs to make the board bows look like they were made from stave. And not lying about it, this was a stave bow, but really it was a board bow. But just the subtleties, the curves, just add so much life to the bow. I do it the old-fashioned way, with a straight blade. As I'm carving the back, scraping the back to round it, you have to change your angle and where you're doing it. But how cool would that be to have, and I actually drew a radius there that represents that red line, that represents I believe a 9-inch diameter tree, which would be probably the most popular one, 8 or 9-inch diameter trees. A lot of bows are made out of trees of that diameter. I personally would like to have one for small stave diameter bows, like 3.5 inch. And the big ones for, you can see the paddle bow sitting here, for paddle bows, 2.5 inch wide limbs, or any bow that's wider. But 9 or 8-inch diameter would be the cat's meow, the cat's pajamas. Okay, so I believe that this would be probably the ultimate expression of one. Not curved like handlebars, like a draw knife, but straight. It would be simpler to make. And also, this is very effective. I personally really like scraping with this because of the blade alignment. It's just straight through. And so that's it. Wooden handles. This happens to be 4.5 inches wide. It happens to be about 1 inch here, which would give me probably enough room I could grind my own 8-inch diameter knife thing. But unlike this straight one that has a bevel on both sides, I think it would be better to actually just have the bevel on one side. Maybe not even a double bevel, but just a nice, single bevel on one side. And so that is that. Nice high carbon springy steel. 8 or 9-inch diameter would be perfect with just the bevel on one side. And so that is that. What would I like for giving my idea out here? I said that, like, if you could produce this, T-Man or somebody else, I would help push it, provided, you were able to produce to sell, or not, whatever. But I wouldn't want any money. I wouldn't want royalties. I wouldn't want anything. I would just want one, so I could go about my business. Topic number 2, this bow. I put some Helmsman spar urethane varnish on it. Actually, tamarisk is beautiful wood. What I found with this, I did tiller it down to where, it was a reasonable weight for a reasonable draw length. I didn't want to overstress it. But what I found is that there is indeed, where that break occurred, it was somewhat vertical up, flat, and I did my best. To pound those things together, but I think there was just the slightest gap on it. And so when it's strung and it's under pressure, it compresses a little bit on the break. So I do get a slight bit of sharp hinging right there. No big deal. Normally that would freak people out for good reasons, but because of the sinew backing, because of the situation here, it's not bad, it's not extreme, it's noticeable. But it does show up that this bow is broken and repaired. No big deal. If you wanted to do this, repair a bow, if I did it again, what I would do, I would glue it. Before I did this wrap here though, I would flex it. I would first clean up that break. There's going to be a gap there. I'd flex it back to open it up, actually like hinging it the opposite way, and then taking a piece of bone or antler or horn, I would make a block in there that would fit tightly. So I'd actually do this, separate it into that clean gap, fill it with something hard like bone or antler, and then just let it go back to a point where it's almost a little slightly beyond. Then I would sand it, file it smooth, and then wrap it with sinew, and that would probably 100% cure that situation. I'm thinking of horn bows that are multiple pieces. They're hard enough and they fit nice enough so they don't have that little thing with the wood and the deformation of the fibers where it broke. That's probably why I have that. And so what I want to do with this bow, and probably go through my email, not on the messages, because you might feel kind of funny about it. But the wooden part, this bow that I broke and then repaired, was given to me by Arizona John. Then I repaired it, and it's got that little slight hingy thing, but it's still a really good bow. You'll see it shooting tomorrow. Sinew backed it, and I'm thinking I want to pass it on to another person. And as John did with me, not charging me a cent and covering the shipping, I would do that the same to the next person. Hard to really express how I want to do this, but I want this bow to wind up in the hands of a young bow maker. I'm sorry, I'm being a little bit, age discriminatory here, but a young person that's really interested in bows, hasn't really gained a foothold in like becoming an expert in it, but I want to get this into the hands of somebody that would potentially someday wish to sinew back as kind of a Kickstarter kind of a thing. Not in the terms of money, but kickstarting their dreams of being a sinew back bow maker. And so what I want to do is, I guess if you're watching this, send me a little email. Why do you think this person is deserving of a bow? Interested? Is it a good thing for them? And because it's going to be a non-monetary thing, I also want to open it up to somebody that might not have enough money to buy, the sinew back bow, because they can be pretty pricey. And so if you know somebody, write me an email. I might get a few of these. I'll have to sort through it, and choose. I don't relish doing that, saying no to somebody and what have you. But yeah. So let's get this in the hands of somebody that will use it as an inspiration to really get into bow hunting. And it would be cool, if I saw some pictures of like some squirrels that they harvested with this bow, because this would definitely be enough power to knock down a deer, but I picture this more small game bird kind of a thing. That is my story. I don't have anything more to say. Tomorrow I'm going to do one of shooting all three of these things. Yep, I got kind of sidetracked today, but that's the nature of the game here. Long hours, you never know what's around the next half an hour. I'm frankly pretty exhausted. I had to go to music practice today, but it was fun. It worked out really well. That is all. It's a Red Bull day. A multiple Red Bull day. Let's see who's occupying the yard. Turkeys. Always turkeys.